What is going on, Aztec Nation? It's another episode of the Sons of Montezuma. It is the off season. Of course, it is the portal season. And yesterday, news broke about our first transfer edition. And we're very excited to have joining the show this evening, Jeremiah Oden. So stick around. We'll be right back.
This the
We game time ready. Welcome to my gym where the crowd stays heavy. Keep the bus running cause this won't take long. 4 minutes left, here the show still going strong. We game time ready. Opponents can't sleep when they leave. No Freddy, it's the Aztecs in the house tonight. Hoop squad on deck.
All right, guys, how are we all feeling? How are we all feeling, guys? I'm very excited today. It is a big day. Of course, we know we in Aztec Nation kind of know it in several different areas, right? We're in the transfer portal season, as we said, but I don't know if you guys knew. By the way, my name's Mateo San Diego. This is Sons of Montezuma podcast. Very happy.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
And to my left from East County to East Tahoe, you guys know him. It is Mike Tortolot. Good to see you, man.
Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm good. Did you know that today is Lamont Butler Day? Did you know that?
No.
Do you remember
that? Oh yeah. Sorry, 2 years ago today, right? Maybe the greatest moment in the history of San Diego.
Oh man, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. What's up, SD Sports Fiend?
How you doing, man? Yeah, no, I'm loving reliving all of these videos and everything from that magical day 2 years ago. I mean, best sporting event of my life. Man, I'd love to do it again. Let's do it again, man. Let's put together a roster and let's get back there.
It's Final Four week. I mean, come on, guys. National Lamont Butler Day, of course. 2 years ago, like Fiend says, we were there in Houston making the Final Four run, all the pageantry, the excitement, the traveling, the overnight going from Vegas to Houston. I mean, everything that journey entailed, right? It feels like a long time ago, but it also feels like yesterday. So for us, we're in the transfer portal season now. And, I don't want to waste too much time because even though we're going to celebrate a lot of different things after this interview, I'm really excited. I was actually at the Padre game last night when news broke about Jeremiah's signing here to San Diego State. And I was like, I got to get inside the game. And I started tweeting things out, posted everybody's, sharing different videos, all kinds of craziness. And so I'm really thankful to have him joining the show tonight. I know everybody's out for a treat. And yeah, let's get it going. What do you guys think? He's waiting for us. So let's do it. All right. Everybody want to welcome the newest member of the Aztecs basketball familia. Of course. What's going on, Mr. Jeremiah Oden? Let's get you on center stage. There you go, man. How are you doing, Jeremiah? Good to see you.
What's up? I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Awesome,
nice
man.
To meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. Glad you're an Aztec. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys. I'm happy to be an Aztec, man.
So are we.
He even got the red. He's wearing the red
I love it.
sweatshirt. I got the gear already. I hope you got some gear on your visit out here. So no, we're thrilled to have you. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
What has the last I want to say 24 hours been, because it's probably been about 24 hours since the news broke.
Mm-hmm.
What has that been like for you, just making the decision, leading up to the decision?
Yeah, I mean, the past 24 hours, it's been, since the commitment, it's been great. Just receiving all the love from the fans. Soon as I press send on my commitment, you just start getting follows, DMs, all good things just from all the Aztecs fans. And that's something that's different from any of the past commitments that I've had, I'd say. just the fan base has just been so crazy. And I've appreciated all the love so far.
Definitely a little crazy, definitely a little wild. We're excited about our Aztecs. We're gonna have some fun. I know we're gonna get into a lot of different things. Your journey, of course, we know you from your years in Wyoming, but you made a couple different stops, and for you to get to this point. But we want the fans to get to know you, Jeremiah. So we got some fun questions for you, kind of break the ice a little bit, right? Right, Fiend?
That's right.
Now we know you are, I want to say, hometown Chicago, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know Fiend that you got a couple questions you want to jump off the bat, Fiend.
So I mean, I'm from Chicagoland myself, not from the city of Chicago. I think you went to St. Rita High School.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So I played water polo in high school, and we played against them from the public league. And where's that? South side of Chicago?
Yeah, it's on the south side, 79th and West.
Okay. Yeah. So being from Chicago, I gotta know, like, are you a Sox fan or are you a Cubs fan?
I'm actually a Cubs fan. Some people kind of look at me like I'm crazy saying I'm a Cubs fan, being I lived in Beverly, it's a neighborhood on the south side, so I should probably be a Sox fan. But I just grew up going to Cubs games. Like when I was younger, you don't really have a say where you go. My aunt used to always have Cubs tickets, and she used to take me to Cubs games. So I just kind of became a Cubs fan by default. And then my freshman year in high school, they won the World Series. So it was looking good for me after that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I bet you probably take some flack for, do you wear the Cubs jersey or hat down on the south side when you're there?
I got a hat. A hat's the only piece of Cubs gear I got.
Nice. So a couple more questions for you, because since you're from Chicago. And I just want to remind you that there are people that could be watching from Chicago. So you got to have the right answer. Does ketchup belong on a hot dog?
No. Gotta do it Chicago style.
That's right. Very good. Very good. Also, what is your favorite pizza? Is it deep dish or is it thin crust, square cut pizza?
I think it depends on the day. You can't go wrong with either. And in Chicago, like, I think both are better. Like, deep dish is obviously a staple of Chicago, but I think like the regular thin crust is better in Chicago as well. I've never had better thin crust pizza anywhere either. So we're known for the deep dish, but you can't really go wrong with either in Chicago. Chicago is the best pizza place in the country, if you ask me.
100% agree with you. And I don't know if you know this yet, but we do have a Rosati's here in San Diego. So it is like a chain from Chicago. So it's over in Grantville area. So you have to check it out and get some of that Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, I definitely have to check that out.
All right. Well, you guys have any questions for him? Thanks for answering those Chicago themed questions. Yeah. And glad to have a fellow Chicagoan on the show. And again, we're thrilled you're out here on the West Coast. This is the best coast, and we're gonna have a good time in San Diego.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my basic question is 25. Is that like a number you like to hold on to? Is there any significance behind that? Do you plan on wearing that?
Yeah, no, 25 is definitely a number. I'll wear it for the rest of my career if I have the chance to, if nobody has it. To me, it just means the first time I ever wore it, I was a freshman in high school, and I was playing on the freshman team at St. Rita. I came off the bench as a freshman on a freshman team, didn't really play that much down the stretch. And that year, the number 25 was assigned to me. I didn't pick it. And then from there on out, I just decided to keep wearing it to kind of remind me of that and just to remind me of where I started. So to me, the number 25 just represents my journey up to this point.
All right. Let's see. What else could we ask? I would say this, your journey has taken you a few different places. Have you ever been to San Diego before outside of playing against the Aztecs in the past?
I came out here for vacation once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today is Taco Tuesday then. And in San Diego, we take our Mexican food very seriously. Have you gone and ventured out eating some of the local Mexican food or not so much?
This past this past when I was on the visit, I had this taco place. I don't remember the name of it, but they say they won an award for the best fish taco in San Diego. It was pretty good. I don't remember the name of it. I'll get back to you guys with that, but that was my first little taste.
Yeah, we got a lot of them. Mike, you got anything, or we keep going? Keep going.
Well, no, I was just curious because 25 is meaningful in my family, so I think it's kind of poetic that you're 25 selfishly for me. So I think that's kind of cool, the synergy there. But like, I wanted to ask, I've been on like I don't know if it's like a haiku or a poem or whatever lately. So I don't know where I got this from. I'm not sure where. But I made a little poem for you if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
That's weird. All right. A cowboy, a blue demon, an Aztec now too. He was just a visitor, but now he is home. Let's give him an Aztec salute. The one we need, the one we know. So I don't know what that is. Haiku, limerick, whatever. I don't know the difference. But so I was. I've been firing them off, and everybody's like, "Well, you want to do?" I'm like, "Man, they just come to me. I don't write the poem. The poem writes me." You know what I mean? So I'm curious about a few things, if you don't mind me bugging you on non-Chicago pizza related items. Are you going to go to the Padres Cubs games this weekend in Chicago?
No, I won't be there.
Oh, bummer. Okay. So when you initially left Wyoming and then went to DePaul, you were going home, right, to go to DePaul to play ball there?
Yeah.
What made you choose Charlotte, and why did you leave DePaul? What was that journey like?
Well, the coach that I played for, that I signed to at DePaul, was let go halfway through the year. So, when that happens, most people probably usually leave. Our whole team left. I don't think they didn't have a single returning scholarship player. So it was just naturally gonna leave, and I went in the portal, and the Charlotte staff reached out to me. They recruited me some out of high school too. At the time when they were recruiting me out of high school, Aaron Fern was an assistant, and then at the time I came out of DePaul, he was the head coach now. So there was a relationship there. So it was just a level of comfortability, and I felt like they had a good vision.
Okay. And then obviously breaking your foot in October,
Mhm.
You and Reese have a similar journey this past year to where you're at this year. I'm sure you guys have talked about that, or will talk about that. But what does that mean to have that year taken away from you and to get the eligibility for one more year and then to come to play for San Diego State? What obviously you're a motivated young man who wants to play as well as he can.
Mhm.
What changed, or what did you see in yourself that got through that year of sitting out and be like, okay, this is a learning experience. How do I grow? What do I learn? What were some of the things that really you were like aha moments sitting out for your and not playing?
Yeah. For the first couple of days, you're going to be down the first few days. But then after that, you're faced with a decision. You can either be like that for months on end, or you could find a way to try and still be engaged with the people around you and try and still, learn whatever that season of life is trying to teach you. And I think that I learned more this past year than I have in any other of my years of college. I feel like I learned more about myself, grew as a person, grew as a player. I've watched more basketball than I ever have, watch practice every day. You watch every game. You're watching every film session kind of as an observer. You're not going out there and playing, but you're still in every film session. And I also upped my personal film, just watching film every day, whether it's NBA. I watched a lot of EuroLeague film this year, watched a lot of my film from DePaul. So I just tried to just be a student of the game and just continue to grow my love for the game and just try and make sure that I stayed attached to it even while I was away from it. And I think that it's helped me. I think that my IQ will be a lot higher when I do get back out there on the court. And I'll keep those habits of just watching film every day by myself. It was a good habit that I picked up this past year.
Is there a particular area to your game that you want to grow, like in the next year? Is there something that you really want to focus on?
The two pillars of San Diego State, defense and rebounding. Those are the two things that I really want to get better at, and not just be average or not get by in those areas, but really be elite and stand out in those areas. And something that me and the coaching staff talked about a lot, and something I think that they'll be able to really help me with.
Yeah, that was a big problem area for us this year, was the rebounding, especially on the defensive end. We give up way too many offensive boards to the other teams, so that's definitely somewhere you could really help us, if you can really attack those boards. So that's awesome. The coaches, they recruited you a couple years ago, right? Like there was when you were in the portal coming out of Wyoming before you signed with DePaul, you had a relationship with our coaches. I mean, obviously there was some familiarity there, having played against us for what, 3 years, I think,
Yeah.
with Wyoming. So you decided to go to DePaul. So I don't know if the Aztecs coaches offered you back then, but when they called you this time, to see if you were interested, was that a little awkward, or how was that? How did that go? How was that relationship? Were you able to kind of restart where you left off a couple years ago, or if
Yeah,
you
no,
could walk us through that?
yeah, no, it wasn't awkward at all. I went in the portal and they called me on the first day in the portal. You obviously go in, you're not sure what's gonna happen, but they reached out to me the first day of the portal, and it wasn't awkward at all. We picked up where we left off. Dutcher was excited to talk to me. JD was one of the main people running point with my recruitment. He was excited to talk to me. So I just think that it was, and they have AG on staff now who I played against. So that was another thing. So it just felt right from the first call.
And JD was a Cowboy too.
Yeah. So we
So
always had that connection.
yeah, so you had a lot of pieces there
Yeah.
that were familiar, that probably made you feel at home.
Yeah.
That's great.
So him, especially being from San Diego, JD, and then going to Wyoming, I think that's such a vote of confidence for bringing someone like yourself in, knowing that he's experienced both cities, both landscapes, knows what it takes to thrive in both. Talk to me a little bit about your time in Wyoming, because I'm very curious about Laramie. I've been there once last year for a football game. Of course, you spent 3 years there, and some pretty talented teams back in that time as well, man.
Yeah.
You guys gave us fits, so that's for sure.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I see a question here in the chat. What made you come back to the Mountain West, and what do you expect to accomplish here with SDSU aside from those skills, those things that we just asked you about? But like, what is maybe a goal personally and team wise that you see coming back to the Mountain West with the Aztecs?
Yeah, I think that, every year your goal should be, to win at the highest level. We're trying to play in March. That's what San Diego State basketball is about. We're trying to play in March, make a run in March. And I don't expect that to change this year. San Diego State hasn't missed a tournament since I've been in college, and I don't expect that to change this year. And not just make it, but compete in it. So I think that's always the goal. And for me personally, I just want to be the best version of myself. The areas of my game that are maybe average right now, I want them to be elite by the time I leave out of here, and just execute the vision that the coaches have for me.
What
Right.
that NIL tournament that we play in over Thanksgiving?
Mm.
Did you watch any of it last year? What's your level of excitement for it? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't watch it last year, but I kept up with it, and I've seen like some clips of them in the Houston game. I'm extremely excited for it. It's a really unique like non-conference event. I haven't really seen anything like this in my time in college basketball. So I'm just grateful that I'm a part of one of the early classes that's bringing it in, and I'm sure it's something that we'll see going on for decades to come. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. We're gonna go out there and compete, try and perform at the highest level.
Such a great tournament. I was there, and the Aztec faithful really travel well to Vegas.
Yeah.
We love going to Vegas, so I'm sure there will be a lot of fans there,
Yeah.
cheering you on. Definitely.
I remember those Aztec fans at the Mountain West tournament. They were always really deep in Vegas.
Yeah, we roll deep in Vegas, definitely. For those Aztec fans, people watching the show who maybe are not that familiar with your game, because you've been away from the Mountain West for a couple of years.
Mhm.
How would you describe like your game, and is there anyone that you compare yourself to, that you have a similar game to?
Yeah, I'd say like a versatile combo forward, could play the 3, could play the 4, depending on the team I'm on, depending on the matchup. It doesn't really matter. Can score in a lot of different ways, can have a two-way impact, and just plays really hard and plays with a motor, plays with the passion.
Do you ever play the 5 at all?
I played the 5 when we had to, when we were really banged up at Wyoming, but it's not something that I envision myself doing this year.
On a roll. So 3-4, and that's a position that the coaches really covet. Is being able to play that 3-4 position and have a guy with length who can guard multiple positions, because we switch every single ball screen when we're defending, and so there's a lot of matches that happen because of that. So you got to be able to guard smaller players and guard taller players as well. So I think your length is really going to be a big asset for the Aztecs in that next year. So you guys got any other questions here?
Yeah, we
Well, I want
some.
to. Well, hold real quick, because we got T Mac in the house, and you got to give him their super chats. He says T Mac is a good follower of ours, good friend of ours, Sons of Montezuma. He says, "Welcome to the Aztec family, Jeremiah. Glad to have you as part of our program and university." And I'm glad he ended that with university, of course. Jeremiah, what have you studied in your time in college, man? What's your area of focus, education-wise? Can't ignore that, of course. You know what I mean?
I got my undergrad or my bachelor's in psychology, and this year after this semester I'll be about halfway finished with the MBA. So
very cool. Wow.
That's awesome. We got a good MBA program too.
He's gonna write a paper about us on this podcast someday. Psychological journey, man.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I was just thinking, in terms of the NIL and this new approach and everything that's going on, it's crazy, right? Obviously, as a player, because we've heard about all the pundits, us, the media, all the stuff. What is something you would change or would like to see changed if it was possible about NIL in its current format?
That's a tough question because it's so new. I think that there are some things that need to be refined, but I wouldn't say that I would change like any of the hard factors of it right now. I just think that as time goes on, it'll naturally calm down some and it'll become more refined. And I just think it'll kind of naturally filter itself out.
Yeah, because that's kind of what we talked about. To me is obviously the rock, the basis of it is the basis of it. I think what I would like to see is the time frame change to where the portal starts. It used to start right after the selection Sunday, and then now it's after the first weekend. So you get kids like that guy from, I think, Michigan, who was in Sweet 16. I'm transferring. So I think for us personally, I think the time of do it after maybe after the Sweet 16 or something like that after the season would be great. But I don't, that's the only, you can't really change the basics of it, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
It's so tricky. It's so tricky. Yeah. I'm sure with so many things involved with the school calendar. I mean, you got to take all these things into account. And I mean, let me tell you, I just moved. I moved from where I live to literally my backyard, and it was the worst experience. Like moving my stuff to the backyard. Like I never want to move again. Yeah. So to asking people to uproot and change and travel and move where they live, it's a lot that goes into it, right? And you got to make that change. What is this offseason going to look like for you, man? Mind me asking, like how soon do the changes for you take place? I mean, are you going to find yourself on the West Coast anytime like soon?
I have to finish my classes at Charlotte, so I'll be in Charlotte until school's over, and then from there, I just have to coordinate with the coaching staff. I don't know exactly when I'm going to get out there, but I'm going to get out there as soon as I can.
Nice. Allow me to put in a little plug for Swish League. I don't know if you've heard of Swish League. Yeah, summertime ball down here, the Pro-Am.
I've seen that. A lot of the dudes playing that. I've been seeing that over the years.
Oh, yeah. The official broadcaster online for the Swish League, Sons of Montezuma.com, our YouTube channel for sure. That's something we've been looking forward to every summer, man. So highly encourage that. Fiend knows all about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's the Drew League up in LA, man, but that's too far to drive. And trust me, you don't want to deal with LA traffic, man. Stay down in San Diego. We got a great league here, and it's going to be fun to watch you guys ball out. And, you'll be seeing a lot more of us, definitely out there if you're at the games. And, hope you get involved with that. That would be awesome.
Mhm.
There's going to be a lot of work, right, that gets done this summer into the fall, and just to get ready for the season. And so I know it seems like a lot of the older transfers want to jump in right away, and kind of get out here and start getting trained and stuff like that. And we'll be excited to see you once you get out here this summer. I gotta ask you, man. I'm dying to know this. Like, is there, so you're coming back to the Mountain West right after being away for a couple of years? Is there a team that like you hated playing against and that you loved like beating the most? Is there a team other than the Aztecs?
I don't think so. I think I love playing in the Mountain West. So more than anything, I'm just excited to get back and see all these venues again and just have a chance to go play in all these places. I didn't think I'd have another chance to play in the Mountain West. So I think that more than anything, I'm just excited to go everywhere.
You mean it's not Colorado State? It's not Colorado State, man. You didn't see them win the conference tournament and said, "Oh, that Wyoming experience, that hate came back. Got to take these guys out."
I'm just excited to play everybody. I feel like in the league, everybody's going after San Diego State. So if anything, I feel like I'm a part of the team that's most hunted now.
Yeah. It's going to be a little different for you going back to Wyoming because, when you played there, you were acclimated to the altitude, 7,200 feet. Well, I don't know the exact height of it, but now coming to sea level and training at sea level and then going to Laramie, you're going to be like, oh, this is what the players experience when they're coming from sea level, the altitude and why they get winded, so it's going to be definitely a different experience for you playing at sea level and then going to all these altitude games. But it'll at least be very familiar for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Fiend's kind of like our barrel man, just so you know.
Okay.
So he's our, yeah, he's
I
our,
am.
so
I do not. I do not wear a barrel. No.
No, I'm not saying you are. Nobody wants to see any of us in a barrel. First of all, okay.
I am not
he's
barrel
just
man.
that's
Do not
the
compare me to
comparison.
barrel man. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying the similarity. You know what I mean? So, but what do you like to do in your off time? When you have free time? Are you a movie guy, TV show, video games, or what do you like to do?
I really like watching TV shows. I watch a lot of different TV shows, but really just spending quality time with friends, family. I'm really just chill dude.
What TV shows?
Okay.
Yeah, we need to know.
My favorite TV show of all time is Power. I also really like watching The 100. I've watched, Money Heist is up there. Ozark is up there. I don't know. I've watched so many shows. I almost draw a blank. I've probably watched like well over 50 different shows at least.
Yeah. All right. Greatest basketball movie. Greatest basketball movie. There's a lot of them out there.
I like Space Jam. Like, it's not like the most serious. I'll say the Space Jam or Like Mike. I really like Mike. I'll say Like Mike.
Okay.
The OG, right? The OG, Mike Jordan.
So got to ask you a follow-up question to that. Who is the GOAT? Is it LeBron or Jordan?
Come on.
You're from Chicago.
Can I say that they're equal? I say
that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
I'll say that they're equal. I don't really like to say one or the other because I've never seen Michael Jordan play with my own eyes. So I just feel kind of biased by like I'm gonna feel more inclined to say LeBron. But I feel like if the roles were reversed and I'd seen both of them, I don't know what my answer would be. So I just say there's enough people that say that either one of them are the GOAT. So I say they're both equal.
That was a good answer. Very good answer.
That's fair. That's fair. Because when
Yeah.
when you live through it and see it, you're caught up in the emotion of it, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
can go back and
exactly.
watch the documentary. What was the name of that that came out during the pandemic again?
The Last Dance.
The
Yeah.
Last Dance. I mean, you can
Yeah.
watch that and get swept up in it, but to
Yeah,
live it is different. So I
exactly.
respect that. What do you think about Hoop Dreams though? Hoop Dreams. I mean, that's canon in
Yeah.
basketball
For sure.
movies. Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, got anything else? I know it's getting late, man. We really appreciate
Yeah,
your
let 'em
time doing
go.
this. I know
Thank you so
it's
much,
late.
Jeremiah. I appreciate your
I
time.
appreciate you guys having me, man. It was fun.
Yeah, we're
A
excited
lot of
for you,
love in
man.
the chat.
Yeah, I remember watching you play at Wyoming. I was like, man, he's good, man. We got to stop him. And I'm now, now it's now you're with us, and we're excited to have you, and we're blessed to have you, and we're really glad you made the chance to come out here, and we're looking forward to watching you play some ball.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Appreciate you, Jeremiah. We'll keep in touch. Definitely keep in touch, and you have yourself a good night. Can't wait to see you out here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, see you in
Thanks,
a couple months, man. All right, take care.
All right,
All
Jeremiah.
right.
Thanks
Go
again.
Aztecs.
All right, everybody. There you have it. There you have it, Mr. Oden, the newest member of the Aztecs family, guys. That was really cool. Gracious of him to join us and to give us some insight on his journey. It's definitely been a journey, but I love the question, Mike. As far as him relating with Reese, like that's something a tandem that we're gonna see. I think hungry to get out there. Before I let you guys piggyback on that, I do got to put this out there, guys, because the Mesa Foundation, as we all know, very instrumental in, of course, Mr. Jeremiah joining the Aztecs. The Mesa Foundation, if you see up in the top left corner, Aztecs Reloaded. Jeremiah is part of that effort. Of course, the campaign to reload this Aztecs team is ongoing. And well, what can you say? What can you say about it? I mean, guys, this is our team. This is our team, right? So we're asking you guys to support the Mesa Foundation and men's basketball with a contribution to the Aztecs Reloaded campaign. And of course, thanks to a big, generous donation, that campaign, every dollar that you guys give is going to be matched up to 500,000, and that's going on until April 22nd. Today's the 1st, so you got 21 more days. Your support, it's going to help retain this incredible group of young men. Of course, we know what it takes to play on the biggest stage, as we were talking about today's Lamont Butler Day, that Final Four shot. We know what it takes to get there, and we could use everyone's help to compete at that highest level again. And it's going to take your support, guys. So we appreciate all the supers here in the chat, all that good stuff. It means a lot to us. But if you give now at Mesa, mesa-aztecs.org, that's going to go a long ways as well. So guys, we appreciate Mesa Foundation. Of course, we have that partnership with Mr. Schaefer on the t-shirt, but you get something back in that. But if you want to donate as much as possible, the Mesa Foundation, that campaign, the Aztecs Reloaded campaign, that is the way to go. Guys, what do you think? Mike, initial thoughts?
I mean, he's a quiet dude, very low key. Obviously, I'm sure that changes when he's on the basketball court, but he just seems like a quiet, nice, thoughtful young man who's ready to just get better. And you've noticed the last few transfers have kind of said similar things of, hey, I want to get better at defense. I want to get better my overall game. And that's kind of what they come here for. And that maybe is a little bit of a blueprint of, we get guys who are good players, not saying they're bad at defense, but the Aztec way of defense, what top 10 basically in the last long time, is something they want to round their game out with, which is great to hear. And I'm just fascinated to see. We're getting older. Obviously, we talked about there's that point guard who is visiting from, I think, Louisiana Tech or something like that. But I'm really curious to see him and Reese together, because they both have that extra year, that year of not having basketball when they've always had basketball, and missing the game, learning, how he said about videotape, learning, IQ, all that stuff, just learning the game of basketball. So I'm really excited to have him, man. I always liked him at Wyoming. He seemed like a solid player. But I'm just really interested to see how we round out the roster, because he's a great piece to add to our team as an older veteran player with 5 years under his belt, and that's going to help the young kids who are not as young anymore just get better each day and learn from older guys who have been around the block and multiple different locations, and you learn different things at different places. So that's it, it's going to be fun, man.
A lot of
Yeah.
experience. Fiend, before I pass it over to you, because you wrote an article breaking down his game, and I'm kind of glad that we did this interview the way we did, just getting to know him, hearing it from his words, his own perspectives, and talking about his journey, what his expectations. But break it down for us, like, about his game, because I know you wrote that article. It's a fantastic article breaking down how you see we could utilize his skills and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his stats from when he was at Wyoming, that year, the second closest comp in the Mountain West was Micah Parrish, and Micah Parrish was used as a wing power forward, 3-4 guy, 3-and-D. I feel like we really missed that presence last year. I think Reese could have brought some of that, but I think we really missed that last year on last year's team. And I think he could be that type of glue guy. That's why I asked the question about whether he plays the 5, because there was some question about whether maybe he might do that and be like a backup, but he says he doesn't play that position, and they don't envision that role for him. So it's going to be more of a wing, a guy who's out on the perimeter. He shot, I think, 40% from the corner threes, which if you're, if you want to space the floor, you need guys that can knock down those shots in the corners. And you see that a lot in the NBA, where there's just a guy kind of camping out on the 3-point line in the corner. And that's to space and give the guards more room to drive and kick. And if there is a defender who drops down on them, they can hit the guy in the corner for that corner 3. So if we can get that type of production out of him, where he's hitting 40+% from the corners, then that is really going to not only open up the floor for us, but that's going to help our offensive efficiency and just scoring points. When you have a guy that can get those open looks, and the fact that he's 6'8" too, would be able to get off those shots, whereas a guy who's maybe 6'3" might not have as much room, to get off those shots. And then just being it, like I said, we switch every ball screen, so he's got to be able to defend multiple positions. He spent 3 years in 4 years, I guess. 4 years in programs where they, only 1 year did they have a really good, decent defense. The other years, those programs did not have, top 100 KenPom defenses. So it's going to be a little different coming to SDSU, where we are top 50 every single year, and that is what we focus on. And so I think that that's an area of his game that he can really grow on, and hope to see some improvement in that area from years past. And I just love that fact that he wants to focus on rebounding, because at his size, 6'8", long wingspan, there's no reason why he should not be able to dominate, not dominate the boards, but grab more rebounds than he has in the past. And it's an area that we really need help at. We need people who are committed to rebounding. So it's a good fit for us. I don't feel like you can have enough of those 3-4 guys. And so, the fact that he wanted to be an Aztec is, and he sat out a year. When you sit out a year, you take things for granted that you do, right? But when you're not able to participate in those things, you really are grateful for that opportunity, and you're more invested. And so that's my hope, is that he's really invested in the training, in the preparation, and really ready to get after it for his final year of college.
I think one thing that is really gonna light that fire and motivation and being invested in this program is now that he's heard Mike's poem. I think that really just put it over the top. Just sealed the deal. Like if he wasn't obviously committed now, I mean, he's gonna give it his all on that court.
Or I
Mike,
scared him away.
thank
I
you.
don't. I don't
You need to give him a copy of it, like a
frame it,
signed copy of it.
laminate
Frame
it so
it.
he can put it in his locker.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been like spiritually like I don't know, man. Like it just came to me and
You're the Sons of Monty Muse.
no moves maybe. But so like, how do you just leave Kobe out of that discussion about between LeBron and MJ?
It's always been LeBron. That's the
No,
controversy.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, LeBron's played forever, and yeah, he's great. Like, but
Are we
he's
gonna get
played
into
since he was
this?
18. No, I'm just saying. It's just I just don't know how you can leave
No.
Kobe out. You can't leave Kobe out of there. Without
I mean,
MJ, you don't have Kobe.
I got my Kobe painting right behind my shoulder. You guys can't see it, but it's all good. It's all good. You know, it's a different generation, bro. Different generation.
No, it'll
Old
be
heads.
like I know we all kind of get episodic about we're never going to get another player. I'm not saying we will. We all go in those phases, right? But like we continue to get players that are underrated. Some of them are I guess more of a I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like some guys they go to smaller schools or other schools, they develop, and then they come here kind of like we develop players, and then they obviously with Lamont and some of these players and stuff like that. But like it's just interesting to see how and what types of players we get. I think I think they're obviously going after older players this year because they learned about the younger players this year, right? You know what I mean? Like you went young this year, and it's not a bad thing. But you need that old. Like it's just the NCAA tournament is so wild, man. Like 4 number ones. That's the first time since 2008. Like we're getting to a point, and I think that might be why some of these other tournaments have come up. The whatever the one is in Vegas that's going on, whatever it is. But it's at what point is it's the Cinderellas. We'll see what happens next year with some of these teams, but it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Well, with Jeremiah, he's a known factor, right? They know what they're getting with him for sure. They played against him. They've coached against him. Like I said, with Coach Luster, he knows him very well as far as what he's been through up there, especially in Wyoming as well. So I mean, you get that experience. It's not so much of an unknown. You're bringing somebody in that how are they going to fit into the culture, into the team? They obviously have their vision for, like what Fiend's saying, his different skills and whatnot. So I'm excited about it. I know for a first starting point, I think it's we trust the scouting report of our coaches, man. I think it's a home run. And you get older, get more experience, and they know what they're looking for. So we'll have to see what moves are coming up next. I know, Fiend, we kind of projected maybe a little ahead of ourselves as far as some of the other guys available in the portal. Can we talk about what else is out there? I know people in the chat are kind of asking. Today, we just saw that Mahaney from UConn threw his name in the bucket, in the transfer portal bucket, right? That's somebody I think people have been kind of like, I don't know if that's a realistic chance, but you never know. Never know.
Yeah, I don't know where he's ranked on 247 Sports for the transfer portal. It's tough to get any of these guys who are like in the top 200. Let's just face it, just because they're the money value, the dollars that are being thrown out there are they just keep going up and up each year. I don't know where these programs are getting their money from. I know they have rich donors and whatnot. But I think Nick Boyd was our biggest transfer portal signing last year, and I think he was ranked 287 by 247 Sports. And so these guys that are, up there that are really high, it's just not realistic. We just don't have the funding. I think it's better. We've gotten better. And but we still can't get we know we can't compete against the Blue Bloods and some of these big Power 4 programs, and so that's why we need more donations to Mesa and you know, to get more competitive. But the guys that we are looking at, one guy in particular, Sean Newman, point guard out of Louisiana Tech. Mike talked about him earlier. Originally from Culver City, LA area. I think he's an older player. Someone who's, I think Ziegler said he's third in the country in assists per game. So he's a pass first point guard, which is, you know, that would be a replacement for Boyd for who jumped in the portal. So I don't think he's like a great outside shooter. It's like 30%. I mean, it's, you know, but I don't think he takes a lot of 3-pointers as well. This is more looking to get his teammates involved. And so other than that, I don't really know a whole lot about him. I haven't looked at that much tape, just some highlights and stuff like that. T-Mac is asking about Latrell Davis. I love Latrell Davis. I think he would be a good fit here, just with his outside shooting and his ability to get downhill to the hoop. I just don't know how hard we're recruiting, and it seems like we're not if we're bringing in other guys, you know, to you know, bring in for visits. So some other guys that we have been in contact with. There was Brian Moore with Norfolk State, point guard. Kobe Garland, another guard from Longwood. I believe they're shorter guards, though. I don't think they're like really tall guards. Sebastian Mack is an interesting one from UCLA. He had a Zoom set up with us, but again, that's a guy I think who's going to get a lot of money in the transfer portal, and I'm not sure that we'll be able to, you know, match what he's looking for. And then Elijah Price, forward from Fresno State, freshman, really good rebounder. With the addition of Jeremiah Odom, I'm not sure that we're looking in that area anymore. But I know we did contact him, but that's pretty much all I have at this point. I would expect that there's 4 scholarships left. So you're looking at potentially a point guard, a lead point guard, maybe a center, a rebounding center, and then I would think maybe a couple guys in the portal, or not portal, like high schoolers, that you could develop and maybe even redshirt. That would be my guess with those remaining scholarships that they have. They might even leave one open, see if anything comes about later in the year.
So a big and a smaller guard, what you think is still
Well,
on the
they're
table?
going after smaller guards. I'm not.
Mhm. Well,
I don't.
you know,
I don't really like the small guard approach, just because if you look at the way that we play defense, and I mentioned we switch every single ball screen, and we had a lot of our smaller guards got matched up on the big players when you do that, and there were a lot of mismatches, you know, and we got burned on some of those. You look at a team like Duke, right? Now we're not Duke. We're not going to recruit Duke's players, but Duke, everyone in their lineup is 6'6" or taller. And so there are no mismatches when they switch every ball screen, which is what they were doing in the Elite Eight, you know. And so my philosophy is, if you're going to do that, if that's your approach, then you need to get taller guards. You need to get guards that are more like Taj Gorville than ones who are 6'1".
but if you already have a Taj de Gorville, you know, I don't know. I'm seeing that Darian Trammell may have a word to say about what Fiend is talking about right now. He may have a word.
He could. Wayne McKinney could have. Wayne McKinney could have, you know, some say in that too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just my feeling that if that is your approach, your defensive approach, you know, and we pride ourselves on defense and being at the top of the conference, you know, in defense and getting players who are defensive player of the year. I just feel like we're better off having taller guards that are going to be able to guard multiple positions. A guy like Taj can guard 1 through 4,
Mm-hmm.
On the floor because he's 6'5".
Yeah, for sure. Well, interesting stuff. I mean, we're still in the beginning stages of this portal, guys, and it's only going to probably get a little more crazier. I saw there was some rumblings about Magoon Guath potentially still leaving the door open on returning. I think that's a lot of hopeful tweeters out there, a lot of hopeful wishes and puppy dogs and all that stuff. But yeah, that's where I stand on that.
I would love to see him. I'd be pleasantly surprised if he came back. That would be amazing. But the fact that he's a top 25 recruit in the transfer portal,
Yeah,
you got to figure he's going to go somewhere where he's going to get a paycheck.
you never know. The names, of course, that we saw that around this last weekend, the Elite Eight, all that stuff, right? The Texas, the Kentuckys, both not making it, advancing to the Final Four, but still giving it a deep run. Those have been the ones circulated out there, right? So, what do you guys think about our Final Four right now, where we stand? Because right now we're looking at what are we looking at? We're looking at Duke against who's Duke playing? They playing Florida or are they playing?
Yeah, Florida.
Duke and Florida.
Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be.
No, they're
that's
playing
gonna be a
Houston.
war.
Duke,
Oh, they are?
Houston.
Duke Houston.
Yeah.
Duke Houston.
Right.
Auburn's playing Florida.
Correct.
Playing Florida. Oh man. Well, at least both of my picks are on opposite ends of the Final Four. I need a Duke and Auburn matchup, and I'll be sitting just fine. Who do you got, Mike? Who do you got in this Final Four where we're at right now, man? Because Houston and Florida are relentless. They are both relentless. But Auburn and Duke have been probably the class of, when it comes to the media and all that stuff all season long.
I don't know. I just know that Cooper Flagg is by far the best player in the country. Like, honestly, like, it's just not even. It's kind of ridiculous how good he is as a freshman. I think that you have two very similar in terms. I mean, Houston's a great defensive team. Duke is Duke. You got the four best teams in the country. Honestly, I don't know. And you look at the kid from Florida. I can't remember his name. He had those threes at the end of the game and the free throws. The guard. He's unbelievable. So to me, these games they're all coin flips.
Yeah.
If what's his name, Broom, he got hurt. So if he's full strength, you got two games that probably are everything you want in a game. And I don't, if I had to pick, I would probably have to pick Duke and Florida. But I wouldn't be opposed to picking the other two teams either. You know what I mean? So if I had to pick that, and then you got the Natty on Monday. So it's going to be tough to you show me someone who's going to be able to stop Cooper Flagg. That's kind of where's it going to go from there? You know what I mean? But Florida's gritty, Auburn's gritty, Houston's gritty. They're all very similar teams, but I think in all the teams, Florida has an elite scorer, and Duke has an elite scorer. The other two teams have scorers, but each of those guys, it's like the Carmelo Anthony those that year. How do you stop an elite scorer if he's going to do what he does? I mean, Flagg and the other kid had 30 each or something like that. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm loving the chat is reading my mind this past week. Seeing Houston advance to this Final Four, Fiend. I put it out there, man. This is your reminder that our Aztecs took them down back in November. How does it feel seeing the Cougars doing so well?
I mean, it's I can't believe it. We beat this Houston team, and then we get knocked out first four, and they're in the Final Four, and it goes back to kind of what we were talking about last episode. It's like, what the hell happened? We played so well beginning of the season, and then things just didn't work out. And I think maybe some of that was, due to Goon going down and not really having a whole lot of time to get back on the floor, to get back in shape. But I kind of
Oh.
want Houston to win just so we can say that we beat the national champion.
Oh, well, not if our good buddy Quinn Thomas doesn't
But
have
not
anything to
now.
say about War
Okay,
Eagle.
all right.
Broom
Okay.
is
He's
an
a
elite
he,
scorer.
he's a good scorer, but he's not like he's not like you. Like Clayton was a kid from Florida. I mean, those two guys are, to me, from what I've seen, just the two best players in the tournament right now. You know,
Yeah,
Broom
no,
is a
I'm
great player, but you're also going up against great players now too. You know,
Great
they're
men
all
all around.
great. I mean, let's just face it, they're all great. They're all
True.
great athletes. And I agree with you. It could be a coin flip. I am rooting for Auburn though. I mean, especially because of CBM. I mean, Chad Baker Mazzara, he left our program last year, got kicked out for flagrant 2 against Yale, and now he's in the Final Four, and so I do want to see him do well. I always liked him when he was an Aztec, and so I'd like to see Auburn cut down the nets. That'd be awesome.
Oh boy. Well, whatever happens, it's out of our hands, guys. Out of our hands. We just want the
And
bragging rights.
You know what? The other thing I was thinking about too is if you watch these games and how good these teams are, and you get teams who beat a team pretty handily first game of the weekend, and then the next weekend they get beat pretty handily, it shows you how amazing it was and how much has to go your way to get to the Final Four, and it
Yeah.
shows how special that 23 team was to get to where they were, and what they did. And it just doesn't, like, if you watch some of these games, you get there and you're like, hey, so and so hasn't been to Elite Eight, so and so hasn't been to Elite Eight. You're like, holy shit. Like, you would think they would have been to multiple Elite Eights or whatever. It just shows you the specialty of, not everybody gets those. Yeah, there's teams that kind of always do, but like then there's other teams that have never been there. And you're like, wow, I didn't, I could have. Like, has Texas Tech been to a Final Four or Elite Eight?
Yeah, they
Or
were in the championship
NFL?
game,
Okay, all right.
but Tennessee has never been to
There
one,
you go. Yeah, Ole
which
Miss,
is
like
amazing.
some,
I mean,
yeah,
with how well they've been playing the last several years.
it's special. Like, you just you take everything for granted and you just think, oh, so and so's been there a few times. Obviously, there's X factors in the Blue Bloods, but it just shows you how special that run was that we had, and you never know when it's going to come again. You just never know. Like, you have to, and I think that kind of ties into Reese and Jeremiah. You got something that you love taken away from you, not because of anything nefarious. It's just God had a different plan for you. You know what I mean? And so patience versus, is a virtue, and it had to be tough for those two guys to go through what they had to. But you look at what he said about watching film, trying to get better. Reese did the same thing. Reese went on the road trips. Like, that's kind of, to me, I can say it now, but I feel like I've said it to you guys or said someone. I said, you don't go on all the road trips and you sit on the bench everywhere and then you're going to transfer out the next year. Like, he was fully committed to this team, always involved, and I was like, that dude he's coming back. There's no, I would be shocked if he left. Now, things happen, right? But like, for him to come back is like getting an extra transfer, So those two guys together, in the maturity, how they're going to help the younger teammates. BJ and Heidi have 2 years under the belt now, right? Taj and Farrell have a year under the belt. They get another year together in off-season programming. The only X factor I look at here, besides getting guys in, what is Miles Bird going to do? Because if you're going to get drafted, we get it, man. Like, we want that dude to succeed because he's our guy. I don't know what the latest drafts are, but like, I don't know, and I also don't know when he has to commit one way or the other. I think is it right around the portal closing time? Dean, do you know?
I don't know the exact withdrawal date from the NBA, but I would expect him back next year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's great to go get evaluated, figure out what you need to work on, from the scouts, and I think that's a great evaluation tool that they give to the college players and allowing them to be able to go through that process. And I think they're better prepared for the following year if they do make that jump. but I'm not sure he's ready physically. From a physical standpoint, I think there's some areas of his game that he needs to grow. I think he could be a first round pick, maybe next year if he has a heck of a year. So we'll see, But I'm just hoping and praying that if he if he doesn't go pro, that he does come back to SCSU and doesn't jump in the portal like he said he wasn't. He's coming back. So hopefully he sticks to his word. And
the word that I'm getting is June 15th. That's coming from Andrew in the
so that's after the portal
in the
closes.
waiting room. And that's after, yeah. So if that's true, that's the early entry withdrawal deadline. So yeah, thank you, Chino, for bringing us that in the background there, in the producer chair. Quinn, thank you again, man. He says CBM could be the difference maker in this Final Four game. He is in San Antonio, got there today.
Nice.
Man,
Jealous.
man.
Good for
Jealous.
You, Good for
That's
you.
so awesome.
The river walk.
And Bird is the only player from that Final Four team that's still on the roster. So, Mike, you talk about sitting out a year, right? Injury, having to travel with the team. And Bird did that as a freshman, as a redshirt. So, you can't take away that experience and being able to get to that point in the red and black, So whatever happens, hope he comes back, man. Hope he does come back. But June, what was that?
A lot of times those guys will, they'll go through the process, but they won't drag it out to the end.
Mm-hmm.
They'll declare whether they're, coming back or jumping in the portal. So I don't think he'll wait that long until what you said, June 22nd.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll wait that's like a week before the draft. I think. I don't think he'll wait that long. I'll probably get a decision and sometime in May.
All right. Well, guys, we want to thank you all for joining tonight's stream. The transfer portal is still open for the rest of this month, pretty much. So we'll be keeping tabs on any more action and try to get on if there are any more signings and whatnot. But it's Final Four week, guys. You guys enjoy it. Everybody enjoy it, whether you're there in San Antonio or wherever you are around the nation, around the world. It's it really is special. It really is special. It took me back down memory lane, of course, watching that anniversary of the buzzer beater, and just an amazing time. And of course, we want to thank Jeremiah for joining us earlier. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. You can watch it on YouTube, the replay of it. We'll be putting out the audio episode first thing in the morning as well. And before we shut things down, guys, I do got to make a little bit of a different announcement. I'm very excited, guys. For those of you here in San Diego, know that we have Padres are undefeated, right? They're playing right now. I don't know what the score is, but we also have a first place Major League Rugby team, and I'm talking about the SD Legion. The Legion have been amazing. They've been big supporters of ours here on the show. And so if you guys want to switch things up a little bit this spring and summer, the Legion are offering 20% off tickets with a partnership and Sons of Montezuma. So 20% off. The link is in the bio here on the video. It's in the description of the video. You can click on that link and use code ZUMA, Z-U-M-A, and you will save 20% off. This Saturday, they play the Chicago, talking about Chicago, they play the Chicago Hounds rugby. They play up at USD's campus at that Torero Stadium. And we got a chance to get out there and take in the sights and sounds. And, man, yeah, they were it was a pretty rough game, dude. It's a rough game. Gentleman game, but rough game. So if you want to see a first-place team here in San Diego, professional rugby is the way, SD Legion. Appreciate all their support. And we're going to try to drum up some excitement for this first place team out there. Rugby, guys, get it this Saturday. All right, gentlemen. Sons of Montezuma. What is this number? I think this was like what, number 259 episodes, something like that, something crazy like that. So, hey, we're gonna keep it going. Let's go watch these Padres play, guys. It sound like a good deal.
Oh,
Keep that winning streak going.
Jackson Merrill just hit a home run after Xander Bogaerts grounded into a double play, which is strange because Xander Bogaerts always grounds into double plays.
Get
Jackson
outta
Merrill, like, hey, pumped. Have fun. Birthday weekend for me. Final Four weekend. Pods are in Chicago. Starting 5-0. Hopefully get to 6-0. Got a first good transfer signing, and away we go to the off season of the unknown.
See, you know, I never remember birthdays, bro. I never remember birthdays.
Yep, there's a calendar on your phone. Fiend remember. Well, Fiend's like, oh, it's like plus or minus a day of. He's just like he like I don't ever mess with Fiend the way he messes with me. He's always.
You're so fun to mess with, though.
I know. I'm yeah, but no, but it's hey man, you know it's gonna be fun. So I'll be curious to see who our next signee is, and you know like you guys said, is there gonna be a high school kid that they sign in there and develop too? So that's a good start.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Stay tuned, sonsofmontezuma.com for any new articles coming out. And you guys have a great night. Happy birthday, Melanie. Happy birthday, Melanie. Let's go. See y'all.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Yep.